थे हम मेजर इश्यूज, राइट? इश्यूज रिलेटेड टू कस्टम्स एंड बॉर्डर ट्रेड. 1 second. And it is raining and I so want to go in the rain, but पढ़ लेते हैं. Issues related to customs and border trade. Recently newly elected, it enforced customs duties on goods above NRS 100 brought through India. Trade example. On goods. Custom duties above NRS 100. So political vulnerability, border disputes, in 2020 they released a political map claiming 3 things, right? Kala Pani, Limpiadura and Lipu Lake. Kala Pani, Limpiadura and Lipu Lake, claiming Kala Pani, Limpiadura and Lipu Lake, claiming Kala Pani, Limpiadura and Lipu Lake, Kala Pani, Limpiadura and Lipu Lake, Kala Pani, Limpiadura and Lipu Lake. China competition. So see, what are the issues? वहाँ की political instability, then the customs issues related to customs and border trade, border disputes, China factor. इसको कैसे लिखेंगे? China competition को, China's influence through projects. So China competition ही China's influence through projects like BRI that challenge the sovereignty of India. Fifth is, so after this we are having China competition and then we are having economic disruptions like economic disruptions. Major joint initiatives like, so economic disruptions are there, they are delayed due to political deadlocks, right? So economic disruptions of initiatives like Arun 3, Upper Karnali. Why they are there? Because of political deadlocks and because of political deadlocks. Security issues. India's Agnipath scheme. So economic disruptions and then Gorkha recruitment issues. Security and Gorkha, both of these are important. And मैं क्या करती हूँ, यही important points miss कर देती हूँ. I write all other points except the important points. No political deadlocks. Arun 3 and Upper Karnali, which leads to political deadlocks. Again, light rainfall is there, light can go, but who will tell me to put it on charging? No one. So economic disruptions, China. So we have political issues, customs and border trade, border disputes, border, China, economic disruptions. Sixth point is your Gorkha regiment, Gorkha recruitment issue. India's Agnipath scheme, which alters the terms of military recruitment, has led to Nepal to suspend recruitment. So India's Agnipath scheme. Nepal has suspended the recruitment. Security issues. So the Nepal border is being misused by the terror groups and for organized crime. Way forward, bilateral mechanisms are needed to discuss contentious issues such as border disputes. Way forward. First way forward is bilateral mechanisms. Are needed to discuss contentious issues such as border disputes. So bilateral mechanisms are needed to discuss contentious issues. Second, so एक तो bilaterally discuss करो contentious issues को. Second, multilateral platforms. So multilateral platforms. I'm going to turn my timer off for YPT because for when I was coming from terrace to here it took me almost 5 minutes, then to now also I took a 5 minutes break, so yeah, 10 minutes I guess I'll turn the timer off. Yeah, coming back. So bilateral mechanisms are needed to discuss contentious issues such as border disputes. Then multilateral platforms such as BBIN, BIMSTAC, BIMSTAC multilateral platforms can be utilized to serve, can be used for common interests. What are our common interests? Peace, broad change in UN reforms, climate change, disaster management, enhancement of air connectivity. Why just port? Enhancement of air connectivity. Revisiting the friendship treaty. It is suggested by the eminent person group, jointly set. So bilateral mechanisms, multilateral platforms, enhancement of air connectivity, timely completion of the projects, and revisiting the friendship treaty. This is with respect to this. यहाँ पे क्या लिखा है? The transition led by Gen Z movement in Nepal offers an opportunity to achieve political stability, eliminating uncertainty, addressing existing gaps, and promoting a more inclusive and representing political India's foreign policy movement shifting from political. Leave it. So India Nepal, this is April month, right? And I need to write also because then my mother keeps on asking me तुमने किया क्या है, and I have literally no answer. Okay, after this India Nepal, we are having the next thing as Indian Ocean region. Indian Ocean region, I have not done this also. I don't remember मैंने किया है या नहीं किया है मेरे ख्याल से mostly. Indian Ocean region. Where is my register? So see, I have done India, Africa. I have done some India, EU. This is foreign policy one. This is with respect to US, Israel. I have not done this. Let's do this. At the 9th Indian Ocean Conference, India's external minister emphasized the need for greater regional cooperation in the Indian Ocean region amid the growing, oh god, where is my focus? Emphasize the need for greater regional cooperation in the Indian Ocean region amid growing global uncertainty and the ongoing West Asia conflict. Indian Ocean Conference, it was held in Mauritius. The conference brings together, no, not important. Indian Ocean region is a region, it comprises 36 countries economic. पता नहीं मुझे क्यों लग रहा है मैंने ये किया है, but then I think मैंने नहीं किया है. Okay, anyways, नहीं याद आ रहा है. It is bordered by Africa to the strait. We don't need to learn all this. Indian Ocean region comprises 36 countries, 35% of the global population and 40% of the world's coastline. 36 countries, 35% of the global population. I think मैंने किया है ये. Militarization, vulnerability of the critical infrastructure, non-traditional. I don't know, मतलब इतने strongly I feel कि मैंने किया है ये. But कहाँ पे? It should be in this register only. I have not shifted to a lot of registers. So 36 countries, Indian Ocean region, it comprises 36 countries, 35% of the population, and 40% of the world's coastline. So 36 countries, 35% of the population and 40% of the world's coastline. 40% of the world's coastline. So it comprises 36 countries, 35% of the global population and 40% of the world's coastline. (36 countries, 35% of the global population and 40% of the world's coastline. 36 countries, 35% of the global population and 40% of the world's coastline. (36 countries, 35% of the population. 36 countries, 35% of the population. 36 countries are there, 35% of the population and 40% of the world's coastline. Fine. 36 countries, 35% of the population, 40% of the world's coastline. What is the significance? Economic and trade importance, right? Economic importance is there. Economic and trade importance. Currently nearly 95% of the trade by volume and 68% by value. So 95% of the trade by volume and 68% of the trade by value. 95% of the trade by volume and 65% of the trade by value. It moves via sea. So 95% of the trade by volume and 68 by value. As per Ministry of Ports. Economic. Second, blue economy potential. We have a significant blue economy potential, not just economic but blue economy potential. Why we have so much significant blue economy potential? 2.4 million square kilometer exclusive economic zone. 2.4 million square kilometer square exclusive economic zone. Third is economic and trade, blue economy potential, and then strategic and geopolitical value. Critical sea lanes and choke points. Critical sea lanes and choke points. तो इकोनॉमी भी है, ब्लू इकोनॉमी भी है, एंड देन यू आर हैविंग क्रिटिकल सी लेन्स एंड चोक पॉइंट्स. So 36 countries, 35% of the population and 40% of the world's coastline. 36 countries, 35% of the population and 40% of the world's coastline. 36 countries, 35%, 36 countries, 35% of the population and 40% of the world's coastline. Economic and trade, 95% trade by value and 68% trade by value. So 95% trade by volume and 60% trade by value. 95% trade by volume, 68%. Then blue economy and strategic and geopolitical value, because you have critical choke points like the Strait of Hormuz. Now what is the changing geopolitical dynamics? अब क्या change हो रहा है, इंडिया की अप्रोच क्या है और वे फॉरवर्ड काफ़ी है. सो चेंजिंग जियोपॉलिटिकल डायनेमिक्स क्या हैं? Vulnerability of the critical choke points. Conflicts in West Asia, vulnerability of the critical choke points, right? For example, Strait of Hormuz, Bab el Mandab. It accounts for 30% of the worldwide container traffic and 42% of all this. पहले तो 36 countries, 35 and 40% of the world's coastline. See, बार बार करो तो डेटा भी याद हो ही जाता है, but the problem is revision and that is where I lag. Indian Ocean region accounts for 30% of the worldwide container traffic. So it accounts for 30% of the worldwide container traffic, 48% of crude oil, petroleum products. Vulnerability of the critical choke points, it accounts for 30% of the worldwide container traffic. So it accounts for 30% of the worldwide container traffic. It accounts for 30% of the worldwide container traffic. And 42% of the crude oil and petroleum. 30% of the container traffic and 42% of crude oil, petroleum. तो एक तो हो गया ना कि ये वल्नरेबिलिटी, द वल्नरेबिलिटी ऑफ द क्रिटिकल चोक पॉइंट. सेकेंड इज द मिलिट्राइजेशन ऑफ द इंडियन ओशन रीजन.